Hello everybody, it's Exterminate here from Team Copperhail, and I'm here with what is hopefully going to turn into my first real episode. My last first episode was primarily an introduction and me just trying to figure out how the heck to use YouTube, since as you can tell I'm a bit of a newbie. But with me, I have two guests who I will hopefully be doing stuff with in the future. First of all, I'd like to introduce Ethan. Go ahead and say something so we know your mic is working.
Say something so we can tell my mic is working.
Okay, that works. Um, so Ethan, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I play video games a lot. That's pretty much all there is to know.
You play video games a lot. That's all there is to know. All right. Okay, I guess if that will suffice. Zach. He is the second guest star. I guess you could call him a guest star. So go ahead and say something, Zach, so we know your mic is working.
Hello.
Okay, your mic is a little bit quiet. If you could just turn up your settings real quick, that would be appreciated.
Is this better?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Definitely. So, thank you for tuning into the MatriX podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And I can't cater to a silent audience. If there's something you like, let me know. If there's something you don't like, also let me know, please. So, that being said, let's go ahead and start off by talking about something that has been on my mind recently, of the shotguns in Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Now, I know that they have gone through multiple different nerfs, but I still think that the maps just do not... If they're very bad going with a lot of the maps. All of the maps, as far as I can tell, I haven't played some of the newest DLCs, but as far as I can tell, all of the maps just have way too many close range quarters that just don't balance out with the long range quarters. So shotguns just have a notable advantage over things such as sniper rifles, unless you're one of those weirdos who can quick scope like crazy, and especially just normal assault rifles. So I'd like to first off start talking about the Haymaker and Combine. As you all know, the Haymaker is a fully automatic shotgun. It's a reliable two-shot kill, and because of that, I think that it is just not balanced whatsoever, and especially on Combine, where there are just so many tight quarters, with only one or two true long-range lines of sight. So, Ethan, I know that you play a lot of Black Ops 3, so if you could
Yes.
just share your opinions on the Haymaker briefly.
With experience, if we go specifically for just the Haymaker, not the other shotguns, it it's a pretty good gun in general. But on most guns, especially on Combine, submachine guns just still rule over it because, as you said, it's a reliable two-shot kill. Sometimes it doesn't, but most of the time it's a two-shot kill. A submachine gun can kill you faster than it can fire twice. In reality, the Haymaker doesn't have as much range as other submachine guns, and the damage, it applies it, but it doesn't apply it fast enough to go over the better close-range guns, such as the Cuda or the Vesper, if that you actually can get it to hit your target, or even the Pharaoh. It doesn't reliably kill faster than those, so that's why it's not stronger.
Well, Zach, I know that you have used shotguns semi-frequently in the past,
That's true.
and I know that you were also very well versed in submachine guns, and that's probably your best weapons category. Since
That's definitely what I prefer.
I've never seen you like use anything besides the AK-12 from any category outside of shotguns and SMGs.
Yeah, I like being able to just win the duels.
Yeah, those are the two guns that will win you duels. It's not like in previous Call of Duty games where you can just grab an LMG and basically you're gonna be able to take on a submachine gun and reliably win that. Looking back at the PKP Pecheneg from Modern Warfare 3, that was a very powerful light machine gun that you got at, as I recall, a relatively early level.
Yeah, I think it was level 21 or something.
Yeah, level 21. That's when you got it. And because of that, you could just grind through a multiplayer level so easily. That gun, when you put like one of the, I don't remember all the different weapons specialists that you could put on it, but I know that one of them, I'm trying to remember what it was. If you put that on in your class, then you were a monster. You were actually a juggernaut. Yes, that reference to survival was intended.
Uh,
Um,
so I just looked it up. It's actually level 14, so it's much earlier.
Good, good. I like that you're looking stuff up. That's something that's definitely very useful as part of the general podcast. So, that being said about Black Ops 3, truly in the close range gunfire being shotguns versus submachine guns, Zach, what is your favorite submachine gun to use?
And Black Ops 3, it's I like the Vesper. It's the first gun I golded. Yeah, it's not that strong, but I think it's pretty fun to use.
It is a fun gun and fun gun. Perfect. Um, Also, I think that the attachments on it, if you put the right attachments, like the I don't remember what they call the red dot sight in Black Ops.
Reflex.
Reflex, right, for reflex. I think that if you put a reflex, a grip, and fast mags, you're doing very well. But if you take the haymaker, if you put a grip, I recall you can get a grip on it.
I think yeah, I think so.
You can get a grip on all submachine guns, yes.
No, I'm talking
Haymaker's
about the
shotgun.
haymaker. Yeah.
Oh, Haymaker, sorry. Yes, you can get all shotguns as well.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
So, haymaker grip, you don't need a sight on that thing because you can just spray and pray all day and you're guaranteed to hit your target because that thing has insane spray.
Yeah, it's usually a hip fire weapon,
Yeah. Almost all shotguns are, with the exception of the Argus.
which is just bad.
That's a one. That's Argus is always a one shot, but it's hard to hit.
It
Yeah.
is.
It's not that reliable.
On
Yeah.
any gun, even the normal shotguns, I take a reflex just cause.
I feel like the Argus is just a worse sniper rifle.
It basically is.
Because snipers can one shot you at close range too, but they also have the long range.
Yeah, it's a slightly longer, slightly higher area, but yes, go on.
And I'm not sure about the penetration, but that's an entirely different story for an entirely different time. The haymaker, if you put rapid fire, extended mags, and a grip, and for that you only need one like primary specialist or whatever. I don't remember what those are called either. I'm having a bad day today in terms of remembering stuff. But if you put that all on the haymaker, then you can even dominate slightly longer range if you include the long barrel.
Yeah,
Because I'm not sure how much kick it had. I thought it was a little bit heavy on the kick.
it's not very high in kick because the point is it's just doesn't have the spread is so large that it doesn't have that much range in the first place. So the kick isn't that high.
Exactly. So go ahead, Zach.
All right, let's see the hip spread.
Yeah.
I have a chart right now that has all the things. So right now the hip spread on haymaker is it's very actually it's really small. All the shotguns have, with the exception of the Argus, have a hip spread of 4, and all of the assault rifles have hip spread of about 3 to 3.5. So that shows that shotgun spread is not that much longer than bigger than assault rifles.
So that being said, I think that if you put like the barrel extension, long barrel, and like I said, the fast mags and extended mags, and rapid fire, then you have a 16 round magazine, I believe it was, or was that 20? I think it was 16 round magazine. So you have a 16 round magazine. You have a relatively fast firing gun, because that thing with rapid fire that shoots at around 300 rounds per minute. At least I'm pretty sure. I think that its standard is about 200. But yeah, you can dominate close quarter combat with the haymaker and with a lot of shotguns, with the exception of the Argus.
Well,
Now,
I mean, that's kind of the whole point of the shotguns, is to dominate the close quarters. If they didn't, then there'd be no real reason to ever use the shotguns, because at longer ranges they just are actually worthless. Well, I mean, like some SMGs may be bad and you may have to burst fire to go at long range. At least their bullets reach that far. Shotguns have actually no chance.
Granted, granted, shotguns have no chance. But if you look at all of the previous Call of Duty games, now I was a big MW3 guy, so I'm gonna compare everything to MW3, and the if the shotguns, they're micro war with the submachine guns in terms of which are truly better for close quarters. I think that in the past they have really tied.
Yeah, so it depends on the game, though.
In MW3, the striker was like
The striker was good.
king of close quarters.
Exactly. And then the MP7 was right behind it, though, with the submachine guns.
Now that all depends because you have it only takes a couple inches in game for the MP7 to beat the striker because the striker does have the spread.
Mm-hmm.
Even when you're ADSing, it's still going to have spread.
True, but generally the strikers just two-shot you. Generally.
Yeah,
Of course it depends on the range, of course, but
it was definitely better than the USAS or Spaz, the Franchi Spaz 12. But
those were fun. Oh no, yes.
Okay, granted, those were pretty fun guns. I actually enjoyed using all of the shotguns in that one, especially against the juggernauts. So that's my personal opinion on it. I think that shotguns are a little bit too powerful for what they are. But besides that, I think that they're actually good guns. I think that in games prior to MW3, they didn't do shotguns very well. But I think that they really brought it back around with Black Ops 3.
My simple opinion is I used to believe that shotguns around Prestige, going through Prestige, the first no Prestige and then Prestige 1, I thought shotguns were just generally just overpowered. But after playing for a while now, up to Prestige 6, or actually almost 7, seeing that they're fine guns, and they do some damage. Like the last one you get, the Brecci, is it's a very good gun. But it's not a gun that you're going to get a nuclear on. It's
true.
It's simply how it is. No shotgun you're going to get a nuclear on. Of course, some people, of course, have, but it's not that kind of gun.
Yeah, it's not as doable as it is with the KM44, which I'm not even going to start talking about how broken that thing is.
And another thing to think about when you're talking about the strength of shotguns is that you have to realize that every map is different, and so some guns are going to be stronger on certain maps as opposed to others. For example, you mentioned Combine, and while shotguns may be good on Combine, they're just generally a worse class on something, say, like Infection.
Exactly, yeah.
Fair enough. However, I must say that in Combine, the one thing that I never see in Combine are snipers.
Oh, that's where I go. That's where I got my diamond snipers, was all doing Combine. That's how I got my bloodthirsties.
Snipers are just such versatile weapons that on virtually every map you're going to be able to use them. Maybe not Nuketown.
But yeah, they are rare on Combine.
They are rare on Combine because, think about it, I can think of 2 truly open lines of sight that have nothing in between them.
Yeah, they're not very optimal, but I mean, I think it's good that some maps would push and punish the use of certain types of weapons.
Oh, definitely.
Because if you just have the same every gun is equally viable on every map, then what's the point of choosing different maps? It's just all kind of the same.
Oh yeah, there is no point. But Combine, if you think about it, where do you see most of the gameplay in Combine? You see it on one of the two
middle.
spawns.
No, middle is not. Middle is not where you see it.
I mean, up in between the I don't know how to call it, the one main building with the tunnel at the top, and then across from that the open air.
You rarely, I mean, you see that some little game, every game, but really the main point is on all the way to the right with the stones, not the warning side, the other one, and then in the spawns. That's where you see it all.
True.
Yeah, with the stones, that's where I see a lot. But because you have so much cover, a shotgun is a good weapon to use there.
It is pretty good.
Now, also inside, shotguns are very good on Combine. I think that for some of the best guns. However, in Combine, you have something else to consider: campers. Just because they don't have sniper rifles does not mean they won't have some assault rifle or even a Pharaoh with a long barrel on it just sitting somewhere waiting for you. This is where my class of the anti-camper class comes in, which is the Gorgon with FMJ and a rocket launcher.
True, though. I mean, you would generally need to have died or at least have
Found in the
somehow
first place.
located the person before you're able to utilize the FMJ, especially.
Yes, but yeah, I can't really argue with that. That
Well,
is very true.
It is good for fleshing out a camper. Say, example, you sprint into the building and you get shot in the back, and then you're like, okay, that guy's there. Now I can just shoot him through the wall next time.
Yeah. Now, for reason I prefer using a rocket launcher or something with FMJ over a grenade is they could have fast hands. I believe that fast hands
Resets grenade timers, yes.
Resets fuse, exactly.
it does I thought it reset the fuse in BOIII. But because of that, that's why I don't use grenades, because
you have to airburst.
Yeah, you would have to airburst
explode midair.
and that's something I don't feel comfortable doing because somebody could easily target that or
Yeah,
inadvertently shoot it, and instead of just emptying 1 or 2 bullets into me, empty 1 bullet into the grenade and I'm instantly dead.
Yeah, you might just. It does leave you vulnerable.
Exactly,
So,
and
grenade,
with a rocket launcher, that also leaves you pretty vulnerable. But with a rocket launcher, you don't just sit there, because if somebody comes up at you, it's pretty difficult to put the grenade away. With a rocket launcher,
you are less vulnerable when you decide to use a rocket launcher, but you do have to have like a clear line of sight. You can't rocket launcher, up into a window.
true, that is one thing that the rocket launcher can't do, but that's one thing that, depending on the material, the Gorgon can.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's why I absolutely love using the Gorgon, because that can do everything that the RPG can't do. So, I think that basically covers the premise of how OP shotguns are. I might do a solo podcast later in the week, expressing a few more opinions on that, and expressing my opinions on different maps about how good they are, how bad they are, how they measure up to submachine guns. But now something I'd like to talk about.
One quick side note to the last conversation about something interesting they did with Combine. Because it makes sense that what the developers were trying to do in Combine was make it a very exclusively only submachine gun and shotgun map.
Yeah.
One way you can tell that they're trying to do this and not put assault rifles is because I have tested it, even all the way on the side with the rocks. There is no place in the entire map where you can get a long shot with a assault rifle.
Very, very true. Okay, well, it depends on the assault rifle.
No, there's literally no, because all assault rifles, the way they code it with assault rifles, submachine guns, and shotguns, and all that, all types, it's the exact same range no matter what gun it is in that class. All classes have the exact same range you have to have for a long shot.
Oh, really?
Yes. All shotguns have the same range. All snipers have the same range. All of them have the exact same range.
That's really strange, because I don't think they did that in other games, like Advanced Warfare.
I don't know. I didn't I only got a gold on one of the pistols, so.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I'm thinking back to Black Ops 2 right now, since, of course, the two are very closely related. And that one, I think that each gun had its own long shot distance. So, that being said, we can either move on to light machine guns, or we can talk about the pistols. So, which one would you prefer to speak of?
I think light machines are more relevant because they already nerfed the pistols, and now only the burst fire pistol is the one that's.
You just cut off there.
Okay, it looks like we're having a couple connection issues.
That was me. That's fine. My fault. That's fine.
Okay.
I'm back.
All right, you're back. Good. So, light machine guns are more relevant because have they had even a slight nerf since their initial release?
I don't believe they have, no.
Okay. Uh,
Actually, I'll look at that right now. You can keep talking.
so that's why I think that light machine guns do need to be looked at by Treyarch. Granted, they're not as powerful as submachine guns. They're not as powerful as the RK5. They're not as powerful as shotguns. They're not as powerful as a lot of things. But they do have the advantage of they can go through a lot of materials that very few other weapons can.
See, that's LMG's really their whole strong point. What's the whole purpose of picking an LMG is for the penetration and for the slightly longer range than say something like an assault rifle. But LMGs as a whole are one of the weakest classes because of the big thing, which doesn't have to do with like their damage or their range or their combat, but rather like their mobility.
Now,
Because their ADS time is basically the longest, unless you count sniper rifles, but their ADS time is extremely long, so in a duel, they're almost never win unless it's against like another LMG.
now
And
Go
yeah,
ahead.
and beyond that, just the mobility of simply moving, they won't be able to get, say on domination, you won't be able to get to the point as fast. Just things where speed is important, and especially against something like an SMG, which has such a high mobility. LMGs really are they're good in a if you more team focused, but individually, which is I assume how the majority of people play Call
Yeah,
of Duty. Most people
definitely.
don't go to tournaments. So I really think that LMGs are just in general a very weak class individually.
You definitely have some logic behind that. I personally think that light machine guns in objective-based game modes are some of the better classes to choose if you're not very good at, running and gunning, which is something that's definitely an acquired skill. So that's why I personally like the light machine guns. It's something where you don't need to have a lot of skill to be able to use them, and you don't need to camp to be able to use them effectively. Now, you made a good point of saying they do have a very long ADS time, they have low mobility, their reload is incredibly slow, even with fast mags. But that's why I also thought about pistols, because whenever I've made a light machine gun class in the past, I've always backed it up with like an RK5. The RK5 doesn't even need to have attachments, but I've always backed it up with an RK5 specifically so that if I'm trying to move quickly, I still have a strong, powerful weapon to pack behind me. Because as you know, that thing can, on occasion, not very often, but on occasion, can outperform it can outperform submachine guns.
True.
Like
Mhm.
the Pharaoh, because the Pharaoh is a bit of a burst weapon, as you know.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, go Ethan.
Okay, so right now I'm looking at actually I think it's the one of the later patches, not quite the most recent, but one of the pretty recent. They buffed LMGs. They on this one patch itself the Dingo got increased movement speed when holding it and reduced recoil, and the Dredge, the burst fire one, got increased fire rate. So really they haven't nerfed them at all. Instead they're buffing them because they noticed that they
Up to
can't
par.
contend against other exactly. They can't contend against the other things.
Now, I think that yeah, I think that they are doing a good job with it, but for things like the Gorgon, I think a two-shot kill is a little bit much, because for that matter, you could just go with the Haymaker, because the Haymaker has a much quicker ADS time, it has higher mobility, not drastically higher, but it does have higher mobility, and it has much higher dependability.
Yeah,
Less range would be
less
the
range,
trade-off.
much less range.
It does have much less range, but think back to whenever you've used LMGs, because I know we all have before. How
Only
many times
times.
have you used that at a range appreciably longer than what shotgun could do?
Many
Well,
times.
often because generally, if you're about shotgun range, if you can call it that, shotgun range apart from an enemy, generally they're just going to beat you because assault rifles and SMGs.
Unless you're using a dingo, then it
So
really is how good
generally,
it works.
as an LMG, you want to have a long line of sight, similar to a sniper rifle, so that you can fire without a lot of fear of being shot back at.
That's true. That's actually a big concern with using many different weapons, is being shot back at, because you want to neutralize the enemy before they have a chance to shoot back at you. That's something that light machine guns are not very good at doing.
True, especially with things like the VMP, which is one of the
Oh,
better
certainly,
guns
yeah.
in the game. Where even if you start firing, they're not even facing you. They have the chance to turn around, ADS, and then kill you, or not even ADS, and to tip fire kill you in the time it takes you to land all your bullets to finish
Exactly.
them.
And with all the movement features, that allows for even more places they can go and have a decent place to turn around and ADS and shoot back at you. They don't even have to ADS because of that thing's accuracy. I personally think that it has good accuracy. A lot of people would disagree with me, but maybe it's just I get lucky whenever I use it. I don't know.
And combination, maybe.
Yeah, it's likely a combination, yeah. So I think that I'm going to end the podcast soon. I think I'd like to wrap it up by talking about what we could actually use to supplement light machine gun to make it better and make it perform the way we want. Because I personally love using light machine guns. I've always loved light machine guns ever since the Browning automatic rifle. I actually know a bit about that gun because I really do like it. And ever since I learned about it, I've liked machine guns, heavy machine guns, light support weapons, all of those. So I like using light machine guns, and it is difficult for me in a lot of games to find something that can back up something that heavy and that powerful. That is also powerful, but light enough so that I could still use it in a normal firefight.
Mhm.
I think an unorthodox option, maybe to consider one of the melee weapons, perhaps maybe the Fury Song because of its increased range. I think because, in general, one of the LMG's weakness is at close range, and of course melee beats SMG if you're at melee range because it's an instant kill.
Yeah.
So I think that would be one way. I'm not sure if it'd be effective or not, having not tried it myself, but I think if you just think about like the theory of it, I think that would have potential to supplement the LMG with a melee type weapon in order to win the extremely close matchups.
That is true. A melee weapon is something I've never heard of being matched with a light machine gun before, but I consider close range about 3 times standard melee distance. So that accommodates almost all indoors firefights.
True. You would just have to you would just have to play around the fact that you don't have a pistol rather to fall back onto,
Yeah.
but like you would take the attachment, the perk Fast Hands, and you would either pull out your sword and run at them if they're that far away, or just hope you can get lucky with the hip fire.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the weakness would be that in between close and medium range, but that's weakness. That's for the LMG anyway. But you would definitely gain the advantage in extremely close range, melee range.
Yeah. That is a very good idea, though. That's something that I think somebody should try. Try pairing up melee weapons with light machine guns to see how they work. But like you said, go ahead, Ethan.
Oh, sorry. Speaking from experience, I haven't done LMGs with melee weapons, but I have done snipers with melee weapons, and it's the same kind of concept where, unless of course you can quickscope, they aren't good at very close range in general. And so I actually have tried it with. I didn't use a Fury Song, so I didn't use one of the ones with the increased range. I used a butterfly knife, so it has a faster attack, but. I used that, and it worked really well because I won most of the fights because I would just slide, and then they're dead before they can kill me.
That's true. That's something that that's something that it does good to remember. But like Zach was saying, at medium range, that leaves you very vulnerable. So at that point, you really kind of want to think, what could I pair it with in addition? Now, that's where a quick thrown grenade could come in. But that's also where your movement features can help you. Because of the power slide or whatever they call it, you can get behind cover quickly enough so that you could easily pull out your melee weapon and wait for them, bait them out unless they have a grenade. But then again, who doesn't take fast hands?
Exactly.
Me. Oh.
Okay, well, you're trying to like get diamond on your
On everything, yes.
So, have you golded all your snipers yet?
Oh yeah, I diamonded snipers like 2 months ago.
Oh wow. Okay, so never mind then.
And yes, for the whole time I had a melee weapon on as my secondary.
Oh really? And how well did that work?
It worked really well when I was about to die.
Oh well, yeah. Now, melee. Okay, I'm gonna end this podcast in just a minute or two, but Final thing, melee versus submachine gun. Who wins?
It really depends. It depends
Yeah.
on, first of all, the submachine gun, and then secondly, what the skill of each player is, and if you do an equal skill, I really don't know because
It probably depends on what range, like what range you're starting at for this 1v1. If it's like inside a building, then assuming the SMG user isn't using something like the VMP or even the Vesper perhaps, then I
VMP or
would give the
Vesper.
edge to the melee weapon. And if the SMG user happens to do something like the Pharaoh, I think the melee weapon wielder will be able to win at most ranges, just because the Pharaoh does not have a very good. It does not deal with melee weapons very well unless you get like several headshots in your burst.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of it being a burst weapon.
Yeah, and even the Scorpion. The Scorpion is no, sorry. Is it called the Scorpion? The last submachine gun? I think it is. I think it is. Razorback. Sorry. Yes, the Razorback. That gun, that weapon will also lose to a melee weapon that close range.
Yeah, I think that like the Vesper, the VMP, and the KN are some of the only weapons that will very rarely lose to a melee weapon. But again, it does really depend on the skill.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna go ahead and end this podcast here. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think, and once again, thank you for watching. Stay awesome, Acolytes.